Hi, Nicholas here. I used to lug those big jugs to the market to fill with water from those coin-operated filter machines, 25 cents a gallon or 5 gallons for $1. I used to. Then I got the big Berkey. Now I saved my back and hundreds of dollars too. I was paying $600 for the same 3,000 gallons of water that a pair of black Berkey filters will provide from my own tap for only $99. This means that your Berkey water system will entirely pay for itself with only 1,500 gallons of use. And then you will still have 1,500 gallons left before you need to replace the filters. Do the math. Stop throwing your money away on bottled water and filter dispensers that may or may not be delivering as promised. For a limited time, First Amendment Radio is offering 10% off on the most popular Berkey water systems. Visit the shopping page at firstamendmentradio.com or call us at 559-781-3773 for more information. Leave your name and address and we'll send you this special offer. Do it now. First Amendment Radio is an authorized distributor of Berkey products. The Greatest Prophecy DVD from Cross the Border Productions. Embrace the little-known but greatest prophecy given by the great high priest. The pre-incarnate Messiah reveals God's once secret plan for mankind. Believe it. Behold, the end times in Daniel chapter 2, because
the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure.
It is the key to prophecy future. Comprehend the 7-year Great Tribulation deception. Be not deceived. Understand the Great Prophecy delusion, because
if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect.
Be forewarned. America in prophecy, exposed for all to see. The mark of the beast. No, it's not a biochip. A much better and more secure technology is already here, and you are already using it. 2 copies, one for you and one for you to give away when you send a support donation of $25 to First Amendment Radio. Use the chip-in event on our website or send $25 cash to First Amendment Radio, 139 East Tulare Avenue, Tulare, California, 93274. Make copies and give them away. Send $25 cash for 2 copies of the Greatest Prophecy DVD. That's First Amendment Radio, 139 East Tulare Avenue, Tulare, Tulare, California, 93274. A wise man is forewarned and prepares for the time to come. The Greatest Prophecy DVD.
Hear it first on FirstAmendmentRadio.com and FirstAmendmentRadio.net, around the world and on satellite.
You don't have to listen to that ad for... Can you hear me?
Yeah. So can everybody else. Good afternoon.
For Lindsay.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to Financial Survival. Brought to you by Discount Gold and Silver Trading. I'm Melody Cedarstrom. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. It's Monday, the 23rd of May, 2011. And again, thank you, each and every one of you, for joining us this afternoon. Program is brought to you by Discount Gold and Silver. Our telephone number is 1-800-375-4188. That's 1-800-375-4188 for all your gold and silver coin needs here at Discount Gold and Silver. Visit our website at discountgoldandsilvertrading.net. That is discountgoldandsilvertrading.net. The shorter version for your listening pleasure, dgscoins.com, dgscoins.com. And if you have any questions for today's program, please use email address discountgoldandsilver at yahoo.com. That is discountgoldandsilver at yahoo.com. And you can also use that same email address for all your questions regarding your gold and silver coins. And just give us a call at 800-375-4188. I will make the announcement we're having thunderstorms here. Yes, we are, Central PA. And here in the next couple hours, some of them are supposed to be severe. So if we perhaps get disconnected due to power outage, we'll try to disconnect. But just a pre-warning, one just went through, so not so sure we'll have another one here in the next hour. And our thoughts and prayers are for those folks in the Midwest, particularly Joplin, Missouri, where so many lives were lost with that tornado going through. And lived in Missouri, lived a little further north of that in Warsaw and Sedalia. And the storms do get bad. And so major devastation there in that area. So, again, our thoughts and prayers to those folks in and around the area of Joplin, Missouri. And we can't forget the folks also that are being affected by the flooding. The south part had major tornadoes just a couple of weeks ago. Many have lost their homes and family members and, of course, lives. So very turbulent weather pattern that we're seeing this year. So make sure you heed those warnings, folks, when you hear them. And like most of us, we wait to see if we actually see the funnel before we take cover. So don't allow that to happen. And not to bring this and make the severity of the storms, but it is the same way about your financial conditions. Don't wait for the storm to appear. We see it on the horizon. Get prepared, and that includes your food, your storage, your water, and, of course, preservation of your wealth should come first, and then you purchasing your bartering material, getting your fractional pieces and so forth. So you buy what's suitable for you. Give us a call. We help you out. We have great prices, great product. We're a little behind in our shipping, but nothing like our competitors. I mean, when we're a couple of days behind, that's major for us, where a lot of my competitors is, 8 weeks and longer, but you won't have that here at Discount Gold and Silver. Give us a call, 800-375-4188. That's 1-800-375-4188. Also, for your complimentary issue to the International Forecaster, give us a call. We'll get that right out to you. And better yet, get the subscription. You can do that too, folks. Share it, spread it around. People need help, and they don't know what direction to turn to, and they don't know what to do. They're waiting for advice, and the advice that they're getting now is from Wall Street, and that's let's get that changed. We have gold today trading up $3.40 at $15.17. We have silver unchanged, $35.25. Platinum down 20 at $17.58. Palladium down 2 at $7.36. So not a bad day, but certainly we would have liked to have seen a better day. But 800-375-4188. And again, we have Robert Chapman joining us this afternoon from the International Forecaster. Good afternoon, Bob.
Good afternoon, Melody, and all you listeners. Nice to be back again.
It's good to have you back again.
Ooh, thank you.
Yes. And again?
You want to keep me on kind of like a mascot.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Do you wear a funny costume?
No.
Okay.
I get gold here in June up $7.70 at $5.16.50, and silver is between minus 1 penny and 3 pennies. So we'll call it 35.01 approximately, and it's still trading. We got an hour to go in these markets for June and July. Actually, this is a very good day. We got option expiration for gold and silver coming up on Wednesday. And for this to hold in there like this, it was batted around all day. Mm-hmm. So it had a good day. The shares were up mixed. Most are up. The ones that get hit were the banks Barclays, Morgan Stanley, J.P. Morgan Chase, GS, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Citigroup, HSBC, they all are down. 0.5% to 1%. The dollar was higher again today, 76.24, I think it said. And that's just, as we explained to you a long time ago, they were running the euro up to create a cushion under it. Because all of that bad news is coming about Greece, etc. And lo and behold, I said at 149, it'll turn here, and it'll go right straight back down again, but at least it's got a ways to go. Where's it going? Probably to 125 and then to 118. It's a pretty good short. Dollar will move up to about 80. That's okay. Nothing permanent, believe me. Both entities are in what I would call some serious trouble. There's no progress. Well, gold's up $8 now, 15, 16, 90. There's no progress in the talks between the Eurozone partners, the IMF, and all of those overpaid, bureaucratic, one-world socialists and Greece. And they're not going anywhere. And, the comments are, well, we can't have a possible default because if we do, the banks will have problems. Well, the banks should have thought about that. And so what's going to happen? They'll have a partial default. And the banks will have problems. And rightly so. They're the ones that created this monster. I mean, on Wednesday's issue, I've got under Europe some great links to the videos, particularly in Spain, which was a very restrained, conservative complaint of thousands and thousands of people. And I told them that before the election on Sunday, if you go out in the street, you're going to be arrested. That was a wrong thing to tell them. They said, we don't care. And there was about 5 million people in Madrid alone, and there were demonstrations in 72 cities. And it's not political. It has nothing to do with politics. Because they realize, especially the young people, 21% overall unemployment, young people, unemployment's around 35%. There just are no jobs. The banks are all broke. And, of course, they're owned by the Alpha Group, which is the Queens, the Queen of England and the Queen of the Netherlands, along with the Rothschilds and that whole gang of horrible people. And they should realize what's going on. Incidentally, anybody under 50 is a kid, so you probably fall into that category. But anyway, there's real trouble in Europe. And I think that it's going to get worse. And the young people are totally unwilling in Spain to put up with any austerity. They said, we didn't do this. We had nothing to do with it, and we're not paying for it. Let the bankers eat it. And the same is happening in a different way in Greece. Greece has already had pay cuts of up to 1/3, and on and on and on. And that had to happen, but they were dumb to do it, in such big numbers at once. You phase that thing in over 5 years, and you raise taxes over 5 years. Then in 6 to 7 years, everything's sorted out, but you got a default. You just can't pay it. It's not the Greeks' fault, Portuguese, Spanish, Italians, the two groups in Belgium, the Flemish and the Walloons. It's not their fault. The bank should have never lent that money. And now everybody, because they listen to programs like this, they go all over the world. They know what's going on. And that's very, very, very important. And so I think there'll be a partial default in Greece. That'll last about a year, and there will be no collateralization on loans, bonds, whatever. And a year from now, they'll go under, and everybody else will go with them in the Eurozone. That's in trouble. And the euro will break up. How long will it take? Maybe 2 years for the euro to break up. Maybe less. So the euro is not going to be the great next world reserve currency. And they can't use the SDR unless they change the rules. And there's two factions here in the Illuminati. The ones in New York and the ones in Europe. And the Europeans want an SDR, and the Americans say no. We want the dollar. We'll revalue, and devalue, and make a debt arrangement with other countries. And then we'll be clean. We'll be able to kind of start all over again. And I think the dollar has a good chance of being that world reserve currency again. But it's going to be a very, very rocky road. A very rocky road. And you can see what part the Strauss-Kahn situation played into things. And they're going to have Mrs. Lagarde to run the IMF simply because it's what they call a European position. When in fact, if they do something like Strauss-Kahn did, and they don't want it to happen, they just get rid of you. Manufactured evidence, the whole works. And he'll probably do a plea bargain. Maybe spend 6 months or so in the can, and they'll let him out. And but it shows you, for the love of money and greed, at the very top, even though these people work with each other all the time, when it comes to money and power, everybody's head is on the chopping block, so to speak. There's no favoritism.
There was
this
one
Monday, I don't have any questions.
Since you brought up him, there's a question. Says, ask Bob how DSK as an economist made so much money. He looks like just another corrupt French socialist.
Well, he is that. Brazen and arrogant, like all of the Rothschilds, and who he is a relative of, and the Kuhns and the Loebs, and it's a long line of people who all those families have intermarried for the last couple of centuries. And now we even have the Rothschilds married into the royal family in England. I mean, the statements that these people make today get more stupid every day. This Prince, whatever his name is, was supposed to have met this Kate Middleton on the street. I got news for you. Those things don't happen to those people. That was arranged marriage. And so the next offspring of the heirs to the British throne will be partially from the House of Rothschild. And they get their way. When you have as much money and power as they have, you can do what you want to do. I used to do a lot of business in London with them and others. And, I was a big hitter in the brokerage business. And I did all my trades and finality from London. It was the best place to do them. And if you're successful, there's a place in their pecking order. They never knew I knew what I knew about all of those people who I knew there. I've never really had an opportunity to speak to anybody about it until just recently.
So you read,
but I can identify the names that people have kept over the last 5 centuries since I got kicked out of Venice in 1348. The same families doing the same thing that they did 500 years before that. I mean, if you know where to look and what to look for, it all lines up. And if you study what they've done, then you can figure out what they're going to do. And that's what I've done. And that's why I've been successful in calling so many correct calls beyond imagination. I'm certainly not psychic. Do I have any special abilities? But it's just hard work, and having done hard work to be able to identify what these people are up to.
I mentioned to someone, Bob, that it was an arranged marriage. And you know what? They just buy into this like it's a fairy tale, And it's like, no, come on. No, they just, people just don't, they don't even think that it's a possibility. It's just totally amazing how they're so corrupted by mainstream media and how they just repeat everything they hear. It just amazes me sometimes. And they're the same people who always have an opinion first, Amazing.
And they're usually not right. And it's because they allow themselves to be stupid.
Yeah.
I said in the last issue that in Europe you don't have the acceptance of what these kind of people do that you have in America. I mean, if they said that all tea from Brazil is brown, Americans who watch television, they believe that.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing the way that they've been brainwashed. And there's not many exceptions. Maybe 15% of the population. All the rest have to be there's a word for it. I can't think of it right now. But re-indoctrinated. They have to be taught what's truthful in it and what isn't, and how to identify it. But this blind listening to government and the people who control it is pretty dumb. And all those people who have done that are going to be totally unprepared for what we're going to experience in the future. It's going to be very, very difficult.
I saw, talking to someone about, China is now, buying more gold in India. And, you look to why they're buying gold. And you know what? It's the right reasons. It's, yes, they have more money, but also because they're focused on using gold is what we talk about as a rise against inflation. They understand what paper currencies are and how gold retains its value when prices increase. And you know what? And you know, this is why their citizens are going to gold. You know, they're encouraged to buy gold by the government, but yet you get to the people over here, and it's like they don't have a clue. I mean, you know, they chase after gains. They chase after, you know, what their financial planners tell them to buy. They have their money locked up into government plans that they can't touch, you know, that are being, you know, used to keep market. I mean, it really is, you know, I mean, I understand how they're conditioned, how they've been so conditioned over the years, the agenda and everything, but you'd think they would finally break away, you know. You'd think that after a while, after they've lost and after they've gone so far into debt, that they would finally get a clue. But they don't.
No, it's just like that syndrome where people get taken when they buy coins, and then they go back to the same people and buy more.
Yeah.
It's incredible human nature.
Well, that one really baffles me. That one.
Well, it just shows you how stupid people are.
You know.
And they don't have to be.
No.
They just want to be.
Yeah, and you know, and folks, when you're buying your gold and silver, it should be about you. It should be all about you, and what is the best way to and every penny that you save. You know, and I know we look towards for support, you know, and it is by purchasing through Discount Gold and Silver. That's how we do keep the programs on the air. But you get a good price, you get great service, great shipping. You know, we don't take you to the cleaners. You know, we don't run, you know, hey, you know, we're running, why don't you donate? We don't do any of that. We take the money we earn from our small commissions and put right back into education. And, but anyway, I think we're down at the bottom of the hour, so give us a call at 800-375-4188. We might have another moment or two here before we're going into the break. But our number is 800-375-4188. And when I give specials, there truly are specials. You know, I hear people say, well, somebody was running a special. How come your price is lower than theirs? And it's like, well, you know, it's all relative. And so when we give specials, I really do give specials. Here's a question. You keep saying that the royal marriage was set up. Given what we know, it is quite likely that is the case. At what point do we see a bit of proof we can help us to convince others who haven't arrived at our level of understanding?
But you got to work at it.
And we're at break, so maybe we can pick up that question on the other side of the break.
Years ahead of the dominant media, FirstAmendmentRadio.com and FirstAmendmentRadio.net, around the world and on satellite.
Record budget deficits, bankruptcies galore, and the U.S. dollar is at an all-time low. With today's gloomy economic outlook, safe investments are often hard to find. For over a decade, Melody Cedarstrom at Discount Gold and Silver Trading Company has been helping people secure their future by investing in the precious metals. Melody has the honesty, integrity, and experience that is often lacking in the precious metals business. Let her put it to work for you. Call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 800-375-4188. That's 800-375-4188.
Hi, Nicholas here. I used to lug those big jugs to the market to fill with water from those coin-operated filter machines, 25 cents a gallon or 5 gallons for a buck. I used to. Then I got the big Berkey. Now I saved my back and hundreds of dollars too. I was paying $600 for the same 3,000 gallons of water that a pair of black Berkey filters will provide from my own tap for only $99. This means that your Berkey water system will entirely pay for itself with only 1,500 gallons of use. And then you will still have 1,500 gallons left before you need to replace the filters. Do the math. Stop throwing your money away on bottled water and filter dispensers that may or may not be delivering as promised. For a limited time, First Amendment Radio is offering 10% off on the most popular Berkey water systems. Visit the shopping page at firstamendmentradio.com or call us at 559